Okay, I'm not sure why my song is playing like that. It's so weird. So let me stop it. Hello. Hi. Happy Friday. Hey, sis. How are you? Yeah. Oh, God. I got some things I want to talk about. And I know that this is widely debated in the spiritual community. We have a false spiritual community that tries to act as though witchcraft is going to fix certain things. And yes, witchcraft will help you with certain things. I believe that witchcraft will even help you with a man that is cheating. Sometimes you have to remove witchcraft that has been done uh, from your significant other. But when a man is mentally ill, okay, when he's mentally ill, and he's raging against you and crazy due to his mother abusing him. Okay. Now, if the man acknowledges that the mother abused him, if he acknowledges that, if he can admit to it, then that's a different story because then he'd probably be working on himself. But if he's somehow normalized it and accepted it, especially if there was some kind of religious trauma, and he don't know who he is, he's all jacked up, he ain't no good for no woman, he ain't no good to be around nobody's children, you can't make babies with him because he crazy because of what his mother did to him. Witchcraft is not gonna fix that. That man needs probably psychiatric care. I think that there are some things that witches can do for men. But there's some things that there's some things that need to be left up to the doctors. And I think it can be dangerous. Sometimes when a man is acting crazy, he may need medical attention. I know that one of my aunts that I love very much, she wasn't, my aunt was she was a good person. She was an Aries. And she was just a solid person. You know what I mean? But when right before she had her stroke, my auntie like almost went crazy. So a person that is acting crazy in a rage is probably close to having a stroke and needs medical attention. Now, back in the days when there were not hospitals, um, women had to do, or the village, or the coven, or whoever, they had to do what they had to do. But if this maniac picked up a machete and started trying to murder people in the community, they would just put him to death. There's no magical words that you can say to, especially a man that is dealing with grief, because if his mother raised him in a miserable environment and that's what he's used to, just misery constantly 24/7, you can tell a man has been abused when he's constantly trying to be abusive towards children. A lot of the times men that were raised that way, and if they survived, they were probably very codependent on an abusive mother. He can't be fixed with witchcraft. He can't. And then a lot of the times, even on YouTube, honestly, witchcraft has nothing to do with it. If you've been dealing with a man that is extremely mentally ill and maybe even suffering from some kind of mental retardation, what does witchcraft have to do with that? He needs medical attention. Yeah, we know healing techniques, but like sis said, if a man is not willing to accept that healing, what are you going to do? You can't force it on him. He needs to be medicated with some Thorazine or lithium or something. Now, I believe in a lot of healing techniques. I believe in it. But when a person has never gotten help and they've been self-medicating with marijuana and liquor, and they are a raging drunk or an alcoholic, what are you going to do? You know, you can't fix them with witchcraft. Now there's certain things that you can do with witchcraft, but when a man, now if okay, let's say that his mother spoiled him, right? Which could be the same thing. He's even work wittable. A man that was mistreated and treated like a dog by his mother, he's he grew up that way. And it'll probably not ever be fixable. He has to admit that he has a problem. As a witch, I am not a anger management counselor or therapist. I'm not a nurse, okay, or a caregiver. If a man is messed up, he's just messed up. Probably needs to get on medication. The problem with that, do I believe that he needs medication? Probably for a little while, but if he can't ever admit that his mother abused him, he has to at least admit it and deal with that grief. You know what I mean? He needs to deal with that grief. If he's not dealing with it, what can you do except for deal with those demons, except for getting banish him. That's all you can do is banish him. And then some of these men have these demons of famine over their family, and they'll bring it into your household. You have to then protect yourself. I've dealt with a man like that, in my inbox calling me, "Oh, your kids are, oh, I hope your kids starve to death." And that's not something that witchcraft is going to fix. And I've never said that it could. That's a demon, a famine that he has in his family, apparently. Cause what did your mama do to you? I mean, at that point, this man becomes dangerous and you may have to thrash him. He's like a sick dog. You know how like a dog got rabies? When a dog has rabies or something, he's sick. And I've actually had a man tell me, "You're not a real witch and you don't have any power because you can't fix me." Hey, fix yourself. Fix yourself, hon. Okay, because it ain't nobody. Listen, I had a man that tried to make me feel as though he was under the. He was a good actor, right? He was a good actor. You're not possessed. You're not under a black magic breakup spell. You're just mentally damaged and ill. Period. Mm-hmm. That has nothing to do with magic or witchcraft. Back in the day, like I said before, they created jails and mental institutions and stuff. What they would do in the village when a man just started acting crazy, they just put him to death. you know so I don't know why it seems like in the spiritual community, especially certain areas of the spiritual community, they make it seem like you need magic to have love. Really? No, you don't. I done had many men love me and do for me, and I almost got married 3 times. Didn't do it. Mm-mm. Never did I ever have to cast a magical spell on them to do that. I'm not a man. I mean, we can work with Saint Martha, the Dominator, or whatever, but at the end of the day, that no, that's whack. In any other spiritual community that's healthy, if you have a healthy spiritual community, there's a lot of witches that don't even do love spells. I'm not saying love spells don't work. I think that a lot of these men that are damaged, they are very familiar with love spells because you're at first recognition, your spirit is telling you, I'm not going to deal with this man, and they'll do love spells on you for years and finally will get you and act crazy. So love spells will work, but why would you need them? Were you going to cast a love spell on somebody every day with magic? That seems like that would be too high maintenance. That would be exhausting. Every single day you gotta, you throwing salt over your shoulder and stuff. And I think that just means that you don't belong with that man. Now, if there's things that are happening that can be fixed, yeah. But a man, first of all, a man that is attacking children, either verbally or physically, he just needs to be put to death. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He just needs to be put to death. He's a danger to the community. Okay, he may be. Or he just need to be cursed. He start wishing bad on kids. He need to be cursed. But otherwise, and I think a lot of people judge based upon social media as well. And some people are just fake. Okay, some people are just fake like that. They try to make it seem like, oh, I've got powerful magic that gave me a husband. Said no witch ever. Said no witch ever. Now, if you and your husband are going through financial difficulty, or you need to do something, then yeah, that would make sense if you need spiritual help for the family. But if you have a man that's turned against you and your children, he could possibly be possessed. However, possession doesn't work that way. He's not going to be possessed every other day. He just crazy. It ain't even about that person not wanting you. He could want you. One EQ, but he just crazy. He got a problem. Or yeah, when it comes to love spells, yeah, like men are the ones that utilize love spells. Women don't typically need love spells unless they're doing a reunion. Okay, that's different. But men are I've had men, I realized that males were doing love spells on me since I was a teenager. I didn't even realize it, how much, they were using love spells. That's something that men do. Because a woman that rejects you, she's doing it because her intuition is saying, nah, this man ain't right for me. So men, what they do is they try to utilize love spells to bypass that when it comes to women. But okay, so you walk up to a woman, you're absolutely repulsive to her, absolutely repulsive. I'm not talking about looks, I'm talking about your behavior. She doesn't want you. You go and do a love spell and it works on her and she opens herself up to you, but then she realizes how damaged you are, how unbelievably damaged you are, and how she's thinking about buying a gun just to protect herself and her family from you. I mean, that's just pretty sad. And let's face it, a lot of these men that were raised in a religious household are complete nutcases these days. They are. They don't know who they are and they don't know they butt from their mouth. Okay? Especially if he was raised a Jehovah's Witness. Now he's a stalker. Jehovah's Witnesses are notorious for being stalkers. I don't know why that is. Okay? But in traditional witchcraft, nobody Witches have their traditions. If they fall in love with a man, or if they're with a man and they want to hand fast with them, that's the difference in the tradition. There's no, oh, I'm a witch and I can control a man. Bullshit. I'm a powerful witch, and that's why people love me. Bullshit. No, that is not how love works. I've been in love 4 times in my life. 3 of them were real love. The fourth time I fell in love, he was a fraud. One of them fake ass Geminis that don't know they ass from they mouth. Okay, and I'm not saying all Geminis are like that, but the ones that are bad, they're pretty bad. Okay, they're in fact, you know, you know how they say that you can tie up a man's nature and all of that stuff. But if a man is like a wild animal that acts like he belongs in the zoo, he just needs for somebody to tranquilize him. He needs a tranquilizer. Yeah, you can make a strong, powerful mixture of I would say that if a man is psychotic like that because he's dealing with his stupid abusive mother. Okay, y'all know that kind of man. You can make a strong concoction of valerian root and skull cap and stuff, and you can make it. You can sneak it in his food so he won't be a psychopath. You can do that, but I mean, how you gonna do that every single day? I guess you can. And what if you forget? Because around the holidays is when it's the worst, especially on Jehovah's Witnesses. When it comes to men, if I find out that you have Jehovah Witness anywhere in your upbringing, I can't deal with you because they bring about for some reason it's like a habit. It's not even a spirit. It's just the environment that they was in that they are repeating, and they are playing out this evil, this hatred. What's today's date? Yep, today's the 29th. So it's 2 days before New Year's. Trust and believe that growing up with that Jehovah Witness mama, okay? Trust me. Growing up with his Jehovah Witness mama, and his mama was miserable, raised him in misery. So it's like he's been playing that out his whole life. Okay? And he's sitting up here trying to make you fix him, like fix me. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna sit here and relax and eat popcorn and watch a movie. I'm not gonna be thinking about you. I don't have to put up with you. I wouldn't put up with it. Twin flame or whoever he is, if he was raised in an abusive environment, y'all probably can't be together. That's just I wouldn't care if he was my twin flame or not. I wouldn't care what he was. Yeah, man, it ain't nothing you can do for a psychopathic man that was raised by a crazy abusive mother and was literally raised to ignore the abuse, getting abused, and then that didn't happen. So he don't even know what's real and what's not real. He got a mental problem, acting crazier than a bitsy bug. Ain't nothing we can do about that. Mm-mm. And don't even ask me to help you with somebody like that. Okay, especially if he's a religious nutcase. Mm-mm. Religion drives people crazy sometimes. And I'm starting to question the validity of the whole twin flame situation. There's this really nice guy. Him and his wife are on TikTok, and he's just like, twin flame is something that was created to, kind of trick you into accepting abuse from another person. So I don't doubt I kind of doubt the validity of the twin flame thing. I'm not really that whole thing. I've started to realize that ain't that that seemed like yeah. Mhm. I talked about this on my channel early this morning in the witching hour about how in a normal situation, women that are in a relationship with a man, they are going to tell him, "What did your mother do to you?" Because that's where it started. For him to act a fool, start talking crazy to your kids, to start talking crazy about your kids, there you have it. There's your answer. What you said was correct. Because the reason why he's behaving that way is because that's how he was treated. And a lot of them, especially if you're dealing with a third party type of situation and he done came up with some bullshit and he got kids at home, he don't want to do that to his own children. So that's why you got I don't that's why I don't leave stepfathers and I don't leave my kids alone with nobody. You'll get got I will boy, I will resort to violence when it comes to a psychotic man. I ain't gonna kill him, but I'm a bust him upside his head, call the police, and say, "Hey, this man came over here threatening me, talking loud in front of my kids. I asked him to leave. He wouldn't leave, so I clocked him because he went up. He was getting ready to holler off and hit somebody." And they were just talking about that story over in Florida where that man's mama talked him into murdering his baby mama. Told him if he didn't kill her, he was a bitch. Some of these mamas will go crazy. Okay. And that's just all it is to it. And, typically a lot of these men that show loyalty for their abusive mama, they ain't no good. Because he's just like her. He got to find somebody to abuse. And it's like, no, hun, you're not welcome over here. This house is very peaceful. Bye. Get gizzard. And we don't care. We don't need or nor want nothing from you. Goodbye. And a lot of these women will put having a man before they kids. That's not important, man. You have a responsibility to those children. Screw him. He's an idiot. Complete idiot. Mm-hmm. Right. I listen, there's a difference between being religious, okay, and having religious abuse. And if a man gets beat up or mistreated, Verbally abused. I think that my dude, I think his mom verbally abused him a lot. A lot. Because that's why he's so verbally abusive. Okay. If that is happening and then he's being taught early on that even though I verbally abused you, you have to forgive me and you have to pretend and you have to honor me, even though I'm verbally abusing you, that tends to mess a person up, especially there's never any excuse to abuse a child ever. You just a crazy person. Can't no child do nothing to you that will give you an excuse. And let's face it, a lot of these people are nutcases. They are. Okay. Well, I beat him. I beat my child up because he was standing on my furniture. Huh? This child got hospitalized. They be sitting up there with a child in the hospital, leg broke. They stood on my table and broke something. See, that's and you can tell when a man has been raised to value material objects over human life. Because I don't know, when I was raising my kids, I wouldn't have stuff like on my tables and stuff because they be running around and so they kids. And so I didn't value material stuff. My kids would break stuff, but they didn't get beat for it. Some of these people got beat for stuff like that because their parents value their fine china over them. And I'm talking about extreme abuse. They cared more about their Fabergé eggs than they did their kids. Them kids was getting beat up. Or either just abused, mentally abused and hated. You broke my stuff. It's psychotic. You ruined my life. And what he'll do is he'll repeat either what was said to him or either the behavior in the household. And mothers like that, they usually don't want it to get out. They don't want people to know. They still want honor and integrity. No, you don't get that. Shut up about it then. Go somewhere and be quiet. Why are you still talking? If a man's mother ain't right and you with me, you gotta call her out. If you can't call your mama out, I know that my life is in danger. If a man with a crazy mother can't call his mother out and is harming you, he gotta go. You in danger of being annoyed. Yep. Cause she feel like no matter what it is that she's done, she deserves respect. And that's not the truth. Well, first of all, a crazy person is constantly doing things. This is what I notice about psychotic people. They will constantly do things and say things to get cussed the fuck out. Okay. When you react to them, they accuse you of disrespecting them. So a man with a crazy mama, she can't never just shut up. She can't never just stop with the chaos. The moment somebody says something to her, she pulling out all stops. Why can't she just shut up and sit down somewhere and be quiet? Exactly. Why it got to be all this chaos constantly? You have to ask yourself that question. And it's because he was in a chaotic environment. He'll try to have you and your children in that. I don't allow no chaotic man to be up in my house. And then he'll say, well, my dad used to beat my mama. Oh, I'm so sad for you. Bye. Will you put me out? Yeah. Why? Because you repeating that cycle. Why would you repeat that cycle? Well, them children don't deserve to have all that chaos around them. And they get mad when you don't put up with it. Nobody putting up with that crap. Hello, Malik. And I'm not trying to he got to go. If you in your 30s and your 40s and you still ain't over your crazy mama, you ain't gonna never be over it. The moment I find out that your mama is crazy, I don't want you no more. Cause I already know she's gonna try to make my life miserable. Bye. Oh, well, what about and it's usually those type of women. Oh, look at her, she's not married. You damn right I ain't married. Find me one with a normal, nice mother that got some good sense that ain't cray cray. Find me one like that and I will marry him. Until then, I'm not going to walk down the aisle and make a commitment to a man with a crazy mama that they refuse to commit to the psychiatric hospital. She need to go in the psych ward. Oh yeah, Red Spirit 17. I would never. Oh God, I would never. Unless it's a man that has good sense. And let's face it, when you got a man that don't have good sense, he's constantly trying to create instability for the woman. And now as a witch, I can help you with that. If a man is trying to create instability in your life, we can thrash him. Otherwise, he's a man. Anytime you got to tell a man that he's acting like a bitch, he ain't worth touching. I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot condom. If I have to call a man a bitch, what am I talking to you for? And he men like that, they will not only project that onto your sons, they will project it onto your sons. I wouldn't let a man like that be an influence over my sons because guess what? He's going to try to influence your sons to be just as crazy and psychotic as his mother. Right. Yeah, I can't be with a man like that. I can't. Because and especially when it just comes up out the blue, out of nowhere, just what in the world is wrong with you? Just and then he done developed Tourette syndrome. I truly believe that Tourette syndrome is caused by or either the symptoms of it. I believe it's caused by childhood trauma to where they just blur it and like, what? I've heard things that you should never hear a man say. Did you really just say did that just come out of your mouth? Did you really just say that? Like not even like the most gully gutter crap, like like ignorant, like ew, who raised you? His mama was very low vibrational, very low vibrational. And especially if that heifer is trying to practice witchcraft, oh, I would bind the hell out of her quickly. She be trying to cast spells and stuff. Mm-mm. Your spells ain't gonna work on me. Mm-mm. You got to go, lady. Mm-mm. 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 Don't do it. I'd rather be alone and have my peace than to be dealing with a man like that. Cause cause that's just crazy. Yep. Right. I have witnessed things throughout the years and seen kids grow up. I had to save one of my little cousins. I'm gonna call my little cousin today too. She's so pretty. Crazy lady, a crazy woman sitting up there popping the kids upside the head. You don't never hit no child in their head. What you hitting a child in the head for? That's how they end up messed up like that. Okay, you don't hit nobody in their head, but especially a little child that and people. I have witnessed certain people hitting their child in the head on a regular basis, and that child is now in prison, right now in prison, right now. So, I witnessed it when I was a kid. When it was growing up, I ain't gonna reveal who it is because they not on YouTube, but and I believe that that's how the damage comes in, and it's a lot of people out there that are messed up like that, and that's why they messed up. And you can love that man, but he done got he that's where that saying comes from. What did your mama drop you on your head or something? No, she was probably beating that man in his head. That's why right now his mind ain't developed. And I do believe that the human mind can heal. But if he's not practicing those healing practices and he's just a nutcase, what you gonna do? What you gonna do for him? You gonna say an incantation? Oh my God. And I believe that it'll help, but if he every other day, this one that I know grew up in Jehovah Witnessing, every holiday season, and I've tried to get him to see this. Like, do you not see something was going on? Because why every holiday you get to flipping out? Every holiday. So he's been taught patterns. Right. Domination ain't gonna fix that man. That man, his mama is who created that. So ain't no domination spell gonna help him either. And you shouldn't need that. And so that's not gonna help him, especially if he doesn't want to admit that he has a problem. In fact, that's one of those things that, yeah, the origination possibly was a negative spirit or a demon, possibly, that made things like that for him. But at this point, you're actually dealing with physical and psychological damage that needs to be looked at by a doctor. That needs to be looked at by a doctor. And you can and you know what? If I imagine that if they look at the brain through a CAT scan, they're gonna see the damage. At the doctor, they're gonna see it. At the doctor's office. They're gonna be able to see that damage that was done to that man's brain. And I'm not saying that it's irreversible, but if abuse and chaos and drama and trauma has been normalized for him and he's in denial, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot force him to drink. Like I said, I've heard of women, if they got a husband and maybe their husband is the one that takes care of them and they can't necessarily just walk out and leave, and he come home every day from work acting a fool, for some reason, you got his dinner ready for him, right? Okay, but food can be a stimulant that can actually stimulate negative emotions. Okay, and so I've actually advised that too. I've made potions with valerian and hops flowers. Put a little bit of that in his drink, and he'll keep calm, right? But that's temporary. He's still gonna have to deal with that, whatever it is that's haunting him, whatever it is, the pattern of abuse. And if he never deals with that, and you just normalize it and say, well, he had a bad day, he gonna have a lot of you gonna have a lot of bad days. It's gonna be all bad. That's why, as a woman, I don't mind being alone. That don't bother me. Good, let me be alone and in my peace. I can take care of myself financially. You know what I'm saying? And especially a man that try to mess with your bag, your paper. And when he go that far, he got to be dealt with. And a lot of them will go that far. So that you'll feel like you can't get away from him. And we ain't having that. Okay? We ain't having that at all. No, you can't make somebody love you, but it's not even love. I truly believe that a lot of these men do love, but they don't know how to. It has nothing to do with whether or not they love you or not. That has nothing to do with it. Mm-mm. He's dysfunctional. So the love is gonna be dysfunctional because that's how he was shown love, was through abuse, and now he's repeating that. He does not know that it's wrong that he's showing love through via abuse. Okay, he doesn't realize that, he doesn't understand that. So love has nothing to do with it. Okay, but I think that a lot of them need to go ahead and give up the ghost and deal with the fact that yeah, you're traumatized. They want to pretend as though everything is they was raised in a perfect environment, and they weren't. Okay, they were not raised right. They were not, especially the religious ones, that even some people that are religious, they're taught to honor God and not self. And that's a very destructive energy. That's very destructive. A lot of people are like, no, that ain't the way it's supposed to be. You supposed to, and I think that it depends, because there's a lot of religious people that have a healthy balance. They honor themselves too. But a lot of them that, was taught that they were crap, and in extreme religious environments, it messed them up. So, and it ain't the job of the witches. I don't have time for that. Don't no witch want no man that they got to constantly work on. No, thank you. And then at that point, he becomes a parasite. If it's a man that you have to constantly do work on, or you got some kind of love jar or something, you gotta, that's when he becomes parasitic. Okay, that's when it becomes very parasitic, and you don't want that. Okay, sometimes you just gotta learn how to let go. Mm-hmm. Right. If the man doesn't have self-worth, pride, and the work to back it up, he can't love. Exactly. What I'm thankful for is truth, honesty spells. If I date a man, I'm spelling and charming his secrets to the open. Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, my goodness gracious, especially when it comes to being a witch, because men, they're already kind of off put by witches, especially if it's a witch that can support herself. They don't like that. I personally feel like a man deserves to be cursed if you try to mess with a woman that is able to support herself. You're lucky she didn't curse you, and you are cursed, and it will get worse. Okay. And he should be cursed for, trying to destroy the independence of a woman. That ain't nothing but an abuser anyway, because he's trying to set you up and trap you. And that's when you just really have to let him know that he's gonna fuck around and find out. Okay. Because that don't give a man no kind of power, trying to, and a man that let me tell you something. A man that A lot of these men that, like, a lot of these women will get me, and I ain't never been in this position, but I have had a man, like, I've sat here and looked at him, and I've called him conjuring spirits of famine against me. Does it all the time. I hope you and your kids don't eat because you need to be punished. That's because his mother withheld food from him, starved him at some point, would say, you can't eat because of what you did. As a punishment, you broke my Fabergé egg. I'm no dinner for you tonight. No dinner for 3 nights if you talk back. You can't eat for days. That's why he's doing that. Oh, you talk back to me, get out of my house. That's actually against the law. When I realized that my ex's mother was a criminal, he did something to piss her off. She threw him out in the streets at the age of 13. Your mama ain't shit. Your mama's a criminal. That's against the law. You ain't supposed to throw no kid out at the age of 13 out in the streets. So he's constantly obsessed with, oh, you're gonna be evicted, you're gonna get thrown out in the streets. That No, that was you, hun, when you were 13. So he accepts that backwards teaching for some reason. And what has it served you? It ain't served you nothing. Like sis said, you're gonna end up broke and sick. You keep it up. You are a bad mother if you like literally throw them out in the streets because they talk back to you. That's all I needed to know. And it was obviously long term. Destroyed his life, turned him to crime. Yeah, you can't do it, especially if he ain't got nowhere else to go and he just out in the streets and having to go fend for himself. Your mother was a criminal. That was, and he's from New York. In the state of New York, child abuse is always been high incidence rates of that. This was probably back in what, the 80s, so it wasn't as, like defacts and stuff wasn't as active, you know what I'm saying? A parent can get arrested. You threw this child out in the middle of the winter. They could have froze to death or something. That's neglect. And I'm supposed to honor her while you sitting there raging against me, trying to chant Jamaican incantations to me about I'm listen, where my ancestors at? Because they getting ready to step forward because we ain't about to have that mess. So they want to repeat that cycle for you, and they want you to be just like they mama. I don't know what's wrong with these men. I was with a man years ago. He just wanted me to be just like his mama. Well, my mama stayed home with the kids. She didn't work. And my dad took care of her. But he didn't have a job. It just don't make no sense. I'm like, boo boo, how the hell you gonna have that same scenario when you don't have a job? His father has always had his own business. And so he was just like, well, just get on some food stamps or whatever for a while and welfare, and I'll get one soon. He got put up out of my house. He got put up out of my house. Okay. And no, I'm not gonna throw the kids out. I'm throwing you out. That man made me lose 3 good jobs, 3 of them in a row. 3. I was working in property management back then. Kicking in door, he kicked in my front door once at the property where I worked at, and my boss was so sweet. I can't even complain. She was just like, because of course I had to lie and say that somebody broke in. No, it was him. He kicked in my door. So I ended up having to leave that job several months later because he pushed me out of that job. I got another job. He made me lose that job. What is up with this? He was so dead set on being the man of the household that he actually took money out of the household. Make that make sense. You're going to make me lose my job and you don't have one. And he never got a job until he moved out. And I'm supposed to think, oh, that's a family curse. Somebody and a lot of these men, as a witch, I don't make excuses for them. Yeah. I am aware that there were certain people that were working on our relationship, but why would you as a man allow that? You supposed to be stony. You supposed to be cold as ice against that shit. You ain't supposed to let no bad spirit cause you to be that stupid. And he was in a total delusion. Well, and that was his upbringing. So when he would go and talk to his mama about the situation, she would say, well, your daddy took care of me. And that's all he would hear her say. So then he would come home and be like, well, my mama stayed home. I'm trying to figure out, like, is there some kind of mental retardation happening here? Because make this make sense to me. The math ain't mathing. He started taking up on my personal time with extra chores and never managing his finances in my. I know that's right, Red Spirit 17. Yeah. I've been there, done that, and I'm sitting up there like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. You're not working, and you just made me lose my job. Then he came up on some money, bought a car, got it tricked out, and then wrecked it like 2 months later. Like, but he spent thousands of dollars on that car, thousands. They will try a stupid ignorant man like that, that's lost and raised wrong, he will try to mess with your money because he's stupid. He has no real survival skills. And then be sitting around trying to live off of his mama's life insurance for the rest of his life. It ain't gonna happen. Well, my mama left me some life insurance. Good, she should have. Hell, she put you through enough. Hell, she should have left you some life insurance. What the hell? She wasn't worth nothing when she was alive. Hell, that shit. She should give you some life insurance. Hell, what the hell? Need to use some of that life insurance to pay for a medical doctor to examine your brain. A lot of these men run around here, or women run around here with skull fractures from when they was like 2 years old and stuff. It's just a lot of craziness. It is, and nobody needs that or deserves that, man. Like, seriously, like, keep it a buck. My mother did some crazy stuff when I was older. I called her out on it. Just because you done pushed out a baby don't mean that you get away with whatever you want to get away with. Right. My grandmother used to tell us, don't tell a man about your money. And that's the truth. That's the truth. I don't know if she knew something, and we knew what kind of she knew what kind of men we was going. A lot of these men are they have poverty mindsets. You know what I'm saying? I was talking about that with Cardi B and Offset. Like, a person with a poverty mindset is going to be with another person for their money. Money should be something that, of course, you have, but a lot of them are always talking about money. And it's kind of like a oxymoron. It's like, you know, you're constantly talking about money, but you obviously don't have any money. You make moves like a broke person, and when they get a little bit of money, they act stupid. You know what I'm saying? And nobody wants to sit around. We just want to live a good life. Why are you even talking about that? What is it that you have on you or inside of you? What's wrong with you? And that's why a lot of us women have figured out that we can do better without some of these men. And I've dealt with that. I have dealt with that. I have dealt with that. I've dealt with a situation where my money was stable. And as soon as this maniac came into my life, he began to immediately try to destroy my money. Now, am I going to be able to rebuild? Yep. Can I rebuild with his stupid ass around? Nope. Nope. You got to go. You're done. And apparently that curse jar must be working on you, because what you mad about? Because he don't want you to be able to rebuild. He's an idiot. It don't matter how he treats his ex-wife, his baby mama. If you are a maniac man trying to create poverty in the lives of any woman, you are deplorable, you are cursed, and we will call to Santa Muerta on you and other entities to destroy your life, to destroy your ever being. Okay, that's just all it is to it. And shut up about it. A lot of these men are so stupid, they don't want you to have something that they can't afford to provide you. If they can't afford it, you obviously don't need it or shouldn't have it, which is stupid. So, and I think that you got to clear yourself of men like that. Just get away from me. Like, don't come back around me. Seriously, just don't come back around me, okay? Because that's when he, especially, you can't even have a decent booty call these days, because a man will just, it's like, well, and then they'll call us modern women. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Hecate with the K, exactly. I don't know what's wrong with these men. They seem like misogynists or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's included in misogyny. For some reason, they want to treat women as though we have to beg them and ask them for something. I asked a man for some money the other day because I just wanted, and I had to get my sister to give me the money. I was like, and she gave it to me, and I'm like, you see how I did that without you? I was like, you gotta go. Like, what are you doing? Like, I ain't never had to wait on nothing. It seemed like when a man come into your life like that, you got to sit around and wait. I ain't about to sit around and wait, and I'm removing your stagnation from my life completely. You got to go. You got to go. Oh my God. It's a girl. Oh my God. You right about that too, sis. That's what I was saying, sis. Why all these people running up my butt? I'm not right. Yep. Yep. And tried to make herself a permanent aspect of my life, running around here in a whole cult. Uh-huh. Absolutely psychotic. And they don't know what to do. They really don't know what to do. I know what to do to make it right for me. Do you know what to do? Do they know what to do to make it right for them? Do they really know what to do to make things right for them? Because I'm always make it right for me. And that's why I kind of, I stick with my kind, you know what I'm saying? And like, it's really crazy because, um, you know, they, that's literally, it's almost like a bunch of freaking crazy parasitic people, carousing around a woman and her children. Why can't you get your stuff together? Why are you trying to put all of this off on me? And that's exactly what they do. That's exactly what they did do. And for me, I just keep sending it back to them or either blocking it. because it's not up to me to freely take in all of those demons and negative energies and stuff. It's not up to me to do that. It really isn't. And my grandmother, Lena Louisa Eloise Briscoe, she's not going to allow them to do that. It doesn't matter if, even if my mama was compromised, my grandmother is not going to allow them to do that. My grandmother is a constant force in my life, her and her father. And I can proudly say their names. They can't touch my family or my ancestors. They not touching Midnight, which is my grandpa's dog that died with him. They not touching my family spirit. My grandmother has always held me down, even in spirit. Even in spirit, my grandmother is constantly here with me. So, it's kind of like I don't know what to tell these people. You know what I'm saying? And why is it always my problem? Yeah, my grandmother, she passed away and it's sad, but she's still here. She's still very much here. And my grandmother would never have me. You know what's crazy is that I noticed that some of these people, what I've noticed is that, on a constant basis, they are soliciting me as a business owner. And see, my grandmother would have never had me running around the streets of YouTube doing that. She would never have me doing that. I don't need to run up nobody's butt. If I got to expose you for lying on me, because I had to, because they had an entire smear campaign. And I was like, I was sitting back having coffee with my grandmother back in 2019. And she said, Shawnee, don't these people know that that ain't going to never work for them? And I said, yeah, I said, no, they don't know that. They're going to have to find out the hard way. Because it made no sense. It made no sense to have an entire group of people pulling on me the way that they were. Making comments about whether or not I should get my mother's inheritances. And my grandmother is going to make sure that we have everything that we need at the end of the day. Oh yeah, I'd have lived with my grandmother for the rest of my life too. Loved her tons. I got her photograph sitting right in front of me. And it's just been a shame. It's like these people, their ancestors left them out there, right? With no actual real wisdom or love. And I'm supposed to be some source of love, and I'm supposed to sit up here and just get fed on 24/7. And then you claim I ain't about nothing, but yet you're constantly trying to feed off of me. And I'm just sitting up here trying to, and I'm still going to manifest the life that I wanted. It's going to be right on time. They didn't hold me back or do nothing. It's all going to add up. And I wouldn't go out like that. Like, why would you do that? You should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed. The cult of let's all backbite off of Jamila. And I'm sitting up here like, I don't like what? And that's exactly what that lady did. Every single day, it all revolves around me and what I say. Like, why? Where's your mommy? It's just insanity. Every day, every day. If it's not a conversation on YouTube, it's a conversation behind the scenes. How does your life end up that way? I didn't do that to you. I didn't do that to these people. You know what I mean? It's 3:33. I just noticed that on the clock. So I don't know. I know I gotta go outside, y'all. I gotta go out here and do some stuff outside. And I need to, because I made some full moon water. I need to go out there and get it. So I got stuff to do, but that's not, some things are better left up to the psychiatric treatment centers. Because I mean, that's not it. It's not it. Yeah. Oh, I love you guys too. Yeah. I'm getting ready to go down here, and I'm in the mood for some afternoon pie. So I have a crumb apple pie down there. I'm gonna put in the oven, and I'm about to eat some of that, and you know get stuff done. Yeah, I feel like it was divine protection too. I don't understand it. I don't understand, sis. I really don't understand why people would think that you're gonna get some kind of notoriety or respect when you are all carousing on top of one woman, and literally, like, literally it's just been Jamila, Jamila, Jamila. How did you think that that was ever going to work out for you? And then trying to use abuse as if I'm a child or something, like they going to break me down like a child. Well, guess what? There's no childhood trauma for you to connect to. Even if there was, I've developed myself way too much, but there's no childhood trauma that was that severe to where you're going to talk to me like that, and that's going to break me down. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I got praline cream ice cream that I'm gonna put on top of it. But yeah, I've never heard of vanilla bean cranberry ice cream. I did get some cranberry sauce though. It's not, but you know what? I can tell you that mental illness that's brought on by trauma, it's much worse than what people think it is, because that person is going through something that needs to be addressed by a doctor. It's almost like some kind of weirdness or something. It's like a repetitive behavior, a repeating behavior that just keeps happening over and over again. And that needs to be handled by somebody that has like guards, and in a psychiatric environment to where that person can be stabilized. And yelling and screaming at me, and saying all this crazy stuff, trying to send that negative energy to my family and my children, is not gonna that's not gonna do it. It's not. And that's exactly what I've been dealing with, and I'm not gonna deal with it. Yeah. Yeah, I think that people that need to be medicated, they just need to be medicated. You know what I'm saying? And they can, and you can't say that, because literally it started last night. And you know why this person started going off on me? My ex started going off on me because I told him I was not his enemy. And I said, how did you turn a conversation of peace into chaos? Because I'm not his enemy. I've never been his enemy. He claims, this is his claim, that I'm trying to get attention based upon him, but it makes no sense, because the only people that really want to hear me talk about you is probably that group. And that doesn't earn me any money, because I'm not in that group. I'm not a roaster. I don't make money roasting you. So that's debunked. And, also the reason why I even spoke about it publicly is because of the things that he was doing. You done did all this crazy stuff. At some point, I mean, we can't ignore the pink elephant in the room. Surely people that have been watching me on YouTube for years are gonna wonder what I have to say about the stuff that you're doing. It's not necessarily that I owe an explanation. It's not even that. I don't have to make excuses for you. But it's just the point that you're doing these things, and I don't feel comfortable living 20 minutes away from you. I'm ready to go home. And then the other day, I was telling him, because I was asking him for some money, and I was telling him that this company, it came through and took some money out of my account that I had budgeted for dinner. And he said he said your kids did that. And I said, why? And I said, my kids ain't did that. I said, what the hell? So I'm just ready to get back to my hometown and get away from him. Like, people need to know how crazy he's been acting, and I don't have to protect him from that. I don't. I don't have to protect his name and keep his name intact. First of all, I would never be living with you and you behaving that way around my children ever, ever. You're not going to bring that energy around my house. So, and he's been going through this cycle over and over again. Why do we even keep having to go through this cycle? When it happened, when he first started acting crazy years ago, after the first 5 times that we had a public argument, that should have been it. Oh yeah, I use mirrors on him all the time, but I don't like I'm just like, leave me alone for good. And all I see him doing, when I do look at him, all I see him doing and sense him doing is talking about me to people. This is the consistent cycle that he's went through. He'll go through a love bombing cycle. We'll get along for around the holidays. He's totally up and down. But he'll love bomb me. But then he'll start to talk about me to people that are in that group. I'll see him doing it. I can see everything he's doing. He'll get to talking about me. Then they'll come online and talk about me. He used to. He used to do that. He can do it again if he wants. I don't care. What am I supposed to feel some type of way because he don't know how to behave himself as a man? I'm supposed to look bad because you can't control yourself as a man. And so I'll see him doing it, and then I'll say, you know what, let's let this go. Let's break this off. Every single time I see him doing that, we'll we'll part ways. And then the next thing you know, the stalking online starts by this group of people. His latest game is trying to make it to where I can't tell the difference between me and him. And I don't know where he comes up with that, because he'll say, your group is doing this, your people is doing this. And I'm like, those are your friends. What the hell are you? You the one that talk to these people on a regular basis. It's just like the next level of crazy. And I made a special spray that it's got blessed water in it and oils and stuff that I just spray around my house, because I feel like some kind of water oil mixture, like a spritzer. I just spray it around my house so that I'm like, dude, just leave me alone." And so he's the one that keeps creating content for some of his friends. Why would I want to do that? I'm a witch. I'm advertising my business. Why would I do that? And you're not my advertisement. Like it was almost like he wanted to make me prove that I was a witch and I had some kind of power by controlling him. Boy, you act like you belong in the zoo sometime. So I gotta prove that I'm powerful and I got some kind of power by controlling him. I hadn't even I hadn't even met the man and he was acting cray cray, been acting crazy for years. He been acting crazy for years because he was a part of that group. And then also, I think that that group is a cult and they do have somewhat of a control over him. And he doesn't realize it. He thinks he's the one in control. They all fighting for control over one another. Please stop including me in that. I don't have nothing to do with that. And he's been doing it for years. I don't want to have control over people. You know, like I said, I'm your witchy big sister, your auntie. Yes, I am auntie. Okay. I used to always say that, because I don't have any brothers and sisters, that I ain't gonna never be an auntie. Well, you know what I am. I'm auntie, I'm cousin, I'm your sister. I can't say I'm your mother, but you know what I'm saying? I have godchildren. I ain't trying to be a part of that. They get mad because I don't want a position in their group. I don't. They get mad about that because apparently if Jamila actually wanted a position in their group, that validates their group or something. I don't freaking know. I don't know, y'all. You know, and I really honestly don't. He act like I'm trying to fight for some kind of position. Well, I created my position. I am the owner of Divine Services Apothecary. That's my position. Oh yeah, that would be good. That actually, thank you for reminding me of that because I do use salt a lot in my practice, and when that'll be good to do whenever he's doing stuff like this because he just will start tripping out, and he tries to serve as a blockage. And I'm like, and we're not gonna have that. Yeah, I have godchildren. I got godchildren. People don't even know me. This they babies in social media. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a part of that. It's to me, it seems like a bunch of you know, unrelenting, chaos, and that's not how I practice either. And I don't think that the chaos that they create is going to serve them anymore. Okay, I'm just saying, just a little on a side note, the chaos ain't gonna serve them anymore. Cause I still can't figure out why me, you know. And my ex has been talking about my mother lately. Why? Shut up. He's been talking about my mother. Talking about I think your mother wanted me to have her money. I'm like, go get a job. Go get a job. What are you talking about? Was you there for my mother? Do you even know who my mother is? You don't even know my mother. You don't even know my mother. What are you talking about? And actually a bum and got the nerve to call somebody else a bum. Bummy enough to tell me, screw your kids. Your mama want me to have your money. I'm like, boy, this is the kind of stuff that he says. And then, but he's a high value man, and I'm supposed to bow down and respect him. I swear to God, right now, he is in such a low place. He done went down in the sunken place or something. I don't know what his problem is. I thought about exposing him in my inbox out talking all crazy and stuff. I'm like, what is wrong with you? He should be ashamed, but he's not, because that group, he gets validated by certain races of people. He called me a nigger in my inbox this morning, by the way, guys. He called me a nigger in my inbox. I'm like, and for some reason, you notice around the holidays he tends to deviate towards that group. Around the holidays, every holiday he starts to deviate close to that group of people every holiday, and he thinks that is normal. Now, if a bunch of people were to tell him, hey, that's not normal, would he get it? He honestly, and he'll say everybody says this, and everybody, who in the hell is everybody? Everybody in that group. So he's literally a 47-year-old man basing his opinion on life based upon that group. And I honestly don't understand how a grown man can come on YouTube and become brainwashed. I don't get it. And he doesn't like for me to mention it publicly because he wants people to believe in what they're doing. But it's like nobody believes in what y'all doing except for y'all. Y'all are in that group by yourselves. Everybody in the world is not involved with that. The only thing he sees is real is what Miss L said. Like, really? Like, are you okay? That's why I asked him. I said, are you okay? Because I just don't understand it. And then I told him the other day, I said, don't mention anything to me about that group ever again. What did he do? He came up in my inbox talking about that group. This and this happened. So and so happened. I'm sitting up here like literally working, doing work for my group. And I'm like, I don't care about what's going on in that group. I don't care about that. I don't care about the gossip. I don't want to hear about it. I don't care. Talking about somebody had a 96 Chevy Impala. I don't care. I don't care about what they have. My name was written on somebody's wall as being a walking roaster. You know what? I ignored it because guess what? First of all, I don't walk nowhere unless it's for exercise. And number two, I'm not a roaster. I'll roast a chicken. I'll roast a roast. I'm not what roaster. I'm a witch. You know what I mean? It's crazy. All right, y'all. I gotta go. Y'all have a happy Friday. Okay. And here's the thing about it. I think that he likes to do certain things. Oh, yeah, exactly. He likes to do certain things, right? He'll be in my inbox talking about that's why you lonely over there right now, and I'm not coming over there. It's like I don't want you to come over here. He be really like he don't realize. I'll be like, boy. And so then he'll try to put the spirit of loneliness on me. Like, boy, are you kidding me? He will actually try to do that, try to make it seem like I'm codependent on him. And he was asking me for years before I actually met up with him. I said, now I was single for years before I met up with you. What makes you think that I care? He just doesn't realize that I'll be over here having fun by myself. He be sitting over there miserable on Messenger. You know, I'll be over here having fun, enjoying my peace. You know what I'm saying? Getting clients, getting my money. And y'all not just money. Y'all are family. My clients are my family. But y'all know that I run a business and y'all pay me to do my business for y'all. Right? Y'all pay me for work. So, you know, that's just what that is. But I'll be just sitting over here chilling, doing my thing. While he sits over there chanting in an inbox with a bunch of people online that I hope he ain't never met these people. He'll say it. He'll say, "Well, I've never met those people." Well, why do you care so much about what they think? My robe and oil burners. I know that's right. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Yeah, I gotta go. Is the sun will be going down soon, and I got a lot of stuff I gotta do. I wish I could come on here and show more rituals, but you know, whenever I show my stuff, you know, I think people get jealous. So I just kind of I share my stuff with my circle, people that's in my group. And by the way, if you're in my circle, I have another video going up for y'all. It'll be later on this evening, though. If you in the Yule circle. So, all right, y'all. I'll catch y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Love you guys. Bye bye.